Oh, thank you, Leanne. From one hot topic to another. Now, the South African Communist Party, or the SACP, says that it is considering legal action following claims that the party received money from VBS Mutual Bank. Now, this stems from media reports that a branch manager at the bank was ordered to pay the SACP's R3 million bill for the use of a Boksburg hotel, where the party held its 14th National Congress. And this seems to agree with the statement made by Tshifhiwa Matodzi, now former chairman of VBS Mutual Bank, who was also was at the SACP, is one of the party. We actually said that the SACP was one of the parties that benefited from VBS Mutual Bank. And with us now is Reneva Fourie, who is the head of office for the SACP Central Committee Secretariat. Reneva, thanks so much for coming through.
Good morning.
So not so long ago, I think about a week ago, we had Soli Mapaila sitting in that very seat. And I asked him about Mr. Gilbert Kganyago and his culpability. And at the time, there was nothing forthcoming. But Mr. Kganyago has since been suspended. Why?
Okay, what we are aware of is that he definitely didn't receive any money, whether it's personally or politically. But we have also been informed that he was allegedly the mayor at the time when the illegal transfer took place from the municipality to the VBS. And we're also aware that when the Auditor General pointed out that discrepancy, the transaction was reversed. However, the province had a meeting on Thursday evening, and we thought that it's best that he be on precautionary suspension until his name is cleared.
All right. Fast forward to now reports that the SABC is considering taking legal action against VBS Mutual Bank. Why?
Okay, so what we did, as soon as we saw when we saw the headlines Saturday evening, we then went back to our list of sponsorships. We communicated with all the people that donated to us. We requested from them that they give us a confirmation in writing that they are not subsidiaries of VBS or Vela Investment. We also then checked on the Cipro database. We checked the company profiles just to make very certain that the allegations that is in the article, that it's false. Now, our concern is that we had interacted with the City Press. We had told them that we did not receive any money from VBS, and they proceeded to print anyway. So we feel disappointed. But in addition, the impact of that headline was very tarnishing, more than what people can imagine, because by the Saturday evening, it had circulated all over the social media, both domestically and internationally. The headline said SACP received millions from VBS Bank. When you read the article, it only refers to 3 million, so that is misleading. But also the reality is that we didn't receive anything from VBS. But the most upsetting was the sub-headline that implied that we had a bribe, or that we took a bribe. So it is our primary objective is to protect the workers and the poor, which means being anti-corruption is inherent in our mandate. So to imply that we took a bribe, to be silent around the Guptas, when an entire conference, there were 3 sessions in that conference that was dedicated just to corporate capture, is an inherent contradiction in the sub-headline itself.
I guess the bottom line is, did the SACP receive proceeds that in any way, shape or form can be traced back to VBS?
Not from our records, no. And we verified it over and over and over. According to our records, we did not receive any money from the VBS or from Vela Investments or from any of their subsidiaries.
So going back to that 14th Congress, where was it held at a venue in Boksburg?
Yes, it was held in Birchwood. And what's interesting, though, and some people make the assumption that private companies are more expensive than public entities. So for me, I personally feel offended by that article because the article taints the entire leadership of the SACP. And as the head of operations for the SACP, I had a critical role to play in organizing that conference. And we went to a number of public entities before we decided on Birchwood. And Birchwood was significantly cheaper than the other quotes that we got.
So as someone who played a central role there, you decided on Birchwood for whatever reason. Who paid the bill?
We had a number of people that sponsored, and our donors are categorized. We have trade unions, we have private persons, and then we also have our membership fees through debit orders. So in 2015, after our Special National Congress, we took a decision that we are not going to disclose the names of our donors. And we've been sticking to that. You know, the comeback post-2015 was quite harsh. Normally, because of the character of our organization, we're very transparent. So in our financial statements, we had listed every single donor, the name and the amount. And what then happened is that because we are ideologically opposed to many entities that are more of a capitalist nature, it then compromised the business relations of those particular individuals that had sponsored us. So we then reached an agreement that we're not going to have that disclosure in future. But of course, we have the names, and we have assurance in writing from all of the people that sponsored that definitely there's no. They're not subsidiaries of VBS.
I'm sure as we get closer to elections, we'll get into more discussions about that philosophical position.
Yes.
But right now, amongst those donors, was there a donation made for 3 million rand by anybody?
There wasn't a specific amount of 3 million. Some gave 4 million, some gave 1 million, some gave 2 million. The conference was over 11 million, so we received a whole lot of donations.
And of any of those individuals, knowing what you know now, is there any of those sponsorships of 4 million, 2 million, 3 million, whatever it may be, that could be connected to either Vele or VBS Mutual Bank?
You know, what we did is, look, we have to trust the integrity of the people that sponsor us. We were interacting with our lawyers since Saturday evening, and they gave us assurance in writing. I mean, they gave this to our lawyers. So if they are lying, then they are liable as well.
What I'm asking is, because the VBS report, the bank heist report, is now public knowledge.
Yes.
Names have been mentioned.
Yes.
Now, I'm asking you, of those donors to your 14th Congress, is there anyone on that list of donors, which you don't have to disclose to us as per your position that you've adopted, but is any of those donors linked to the names that appeared in the VBS heist report?
I'll have to relook at that report.
But surely you should have looked at it by now, given the allegations that are on the table, given that you as the SACP are saying you're going to lay charges against people. How could you go and lay charges if you haven't done the due diligence in terms of finding out exactly who made the donations and whether or not they are related to this particular bank heist report?
I'm sure you can appreciate that it's been a very busy couple of days. We only saw the headline Saturday evening. We've been interacting with our lawyers all of Saturday evening, all of Sunday. It was a number of donors that we had to interact with all on Sunday. Yesterday we had an officials meeting where we reported, and that is why we haven't yet executed the legal action, because we needed a bit more time to verify all of those
How many
elements.
donors are we talking about?
We're looking at least 15.
15 isn't a huge number?
No, but you have to interrogate each of the directors. Look, the allegations in the city press was very serious. But it tainted all of our images.
You cannot tell me that took you by surprise, though, Ms. Fourie, because these allegations have been floating around for quite some time. You couldn't have been surprised by it.
I must be honest in that probably I'm a bit naive. Generally we conduct ourselves very ethically. And it never occurred to me that anyone could think anything of that sort about any of us. You know, we have an absolute clean record in terms of our integrity.
It was put in the public domain that several political parties, including the SACP, actually received money. So this is an allegation that's at least a few weeks old. How is it that you still haven't gotten to the bottom of it? Or are you just being hypocritical in this instance? Because by your own admission, Gilbert Kganyago did not receive any monies that accrued to him personally, but you felt he tainted the image of the party and therefore you suspended him. So why shouldn't the same fate befall the rest of the SACP leadership, yourself included? As you said,
it's not true.
You were a person.
How do you suspend someone for something that is completely fabricated?
But you can't tell me it's fabricated because you don't know. By your own admission,
verified
you don't
the information, and we trust the bona fides of the companies that that donated to us. Why should we be questioning them? If they tell us that they are not subsidiaries of VBS, if they tell us that they are not linked to Vele Investments, if they give us that assurance in writing, if we then check the CIPRO database and there's no link to that, why should we doubt their integrity?
Why did you doubt Gilbert Kganyago to the point of suspending him?
But we didn't doubt him. What we then did is we received minutes that indicate that he was the mayor at the time when the transfer took place.
Is the SACP playing for time? Are you playing for time? Because by now, surely you should have gotten to the bottom of it by now. I mean, how much longer does the SACP need to drill down 15 donors? I mean, surely it doesn't take a month for you to establish where the 15 donors have any sort of links to either VBS or Vele Investments.
Look, it's only been 3 days, not a month.
No, but the allegations have been out there for much longer than 3 days.
But because we knew that we didn't get any money from VBS, we didn't feel it necessary to investigate. You know, there's many allegations that surface, but we weren't directly implicated. It is only when we got the communique from the city police. And in fact, they sent it to us twice. They sent it to us 2 weeks ago. We did our verification, not as far as the CIPRO database, and not in terms of demanding that we get assurances in writing, but we did a general engagement, assessment. And from our assessment, we didn't think that the allegations warranted in-depth investigation.
Okay.
And that is what we communicated to the city police, and they just ignored it.
Final question. If it is found that the SACP did in some way, shape or form receive money that can be traced back to VBS Mutual Bank, who should be held accountable for that?
Well, let's cross that bridge when we get there. Because right now
it's not about crossing the bridge when we get there, Ms. Fourie, respectfully. Someone has to be held accountable. Who or which people within the leadership of the SACP should be held accountable if this is proven to be the case?
We got the assurance from all our sponsors.
We've crossed that bridge.
So we will not be holding anyone in the party accountable because whoever facilitated that sponsorship trusted the people. So what we'll then be doing is, because we have assurance in writing that they are not connected in any way to VBS, we will then take action against them.
I then put it to you that you are being hypocritical given the action that you took against Mr. Kganyago, because he didn't benefit personally. The municipality did not actually lose that money because they did manage to get it out before the bank actually went bust. But you still suspended him. So why shouldn't anyone else be held accountable?
No, we said he's on precautionary suspension until his name is cleared. Right now, we don't have any tangible proof that the donations that we received for our 14th Congress is tainted in any way. If something like that does emerge, then the necessary disciplinary action will be taken. But right now, it just doesn't exist. It's a pure fabrication.
Ms. Fourie, thank you so much for coming through. And there you have it. This saga continues. Ms. Reneva Fourie from the SACP. And we'll wait until the SACP gets to the bottom of exactly who donated what and whether they had links to either VBS Mutual or Vele Investments. With that, it's time for the latest news with Leanne.